Namaste. Welcome to the 9th episode of the show Leadership Through Communication. We have today two motivational speakers and leaders in Toastmasters. The first guest today is a coach, mentor, and a corporate trainer, as well as the Associate Club Growth Director of District 41 Toastmasters International, Toastmaster Bhanu Dawadi. Our second guest today is a corporate trainer and motivational speaker and Associate Program Quality Director of District 41 Toastmasters International, Toastmaster Saurabh Lohani. Welcome to the show, both of you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
So both of you have been the president of the oldest club in not only Nepal, but the entire District 41. Toastmaster Bhanu, how has it been being a president of the oldest club in this institution called Toastmasters?
Oh, thank you. It was in 1998 I joined Toastmasters. In fact, I did not have any idea what Toastmaster is all about. In fact, going to the Toastmaster, I was told it's people got confused earlier with the Postmaster and the Toastmaster. So the Toastmaster was a forum. The day I attended, I was so glued with the mission and vision it had, and then I joined. So later, that was the only club we had in Nepal, Kathmandu Toastmasters Club. It used to meet in UN complex then. There were a few expats also the member of the club. So it gave us a very exclusive feeling going to the Toastmaster and talking to the people. So that was a wonderful and experience becoming a Toastmaster, honing your communication skill and leadership skill that the Toastmaster International says about. So, and as we grew in Kathmandu Toastmaster, there was a felt a need of having a few more clubs. Then we started other clubs. Otherwise, Kathmandu was an exclusive club available in Kathmandu and accessible to only few.
Okay, so the best kept secret.
Yes.
When you became the president, I believe there were more clubs. How was it like at that time?
Well, I think it's Spider-Man who said it, with big powers come big responsibility or something like that. But I always had this feeling that I am responsible for bringing this, the oldest club in the town. Well, in fact, I didn't know that there were other clubs in the town, to be very honest about it, because we didn't have cross clubbing back then. But the only thing I knew was now I was the president of this club and I have to be the one who makes sure that the club performs well and lives up to its mission and provides supporting environment for people to practice their communication and leadership skills. And in fact, that's what I felt. I felt very responsible. In fact, that's when I learned that in order to run a company or run an organization or even run yourself, you need leadership. So it was an amazing, I would say overwhelming experience for myself running Kathmandu Toastmasters Club, or the oldest club in Nepal, when I was a president. I think that's what I felt. I felt immensely proud.
So how does it feel now that we already have over 30 clubs and we are moving towards a district itself in Nepal in the next few years, I hear. So how had, for you especially, what's the change been like? You were there when the next club was opened also. I believe the next club was the Everest Toastmasters Club. And now that you have also helped open up many clubs, not only in Kathmandu, but also outside. How has the change been? How do you see yourself fit in this greater plan of this district Nepal?
It's sense of great achievement, the way initially Toastmasters said they wanted to make oral communications a reality. Now Toastmasters says we make leaders. And so as we started in the beginning, there was only one club, Kathmandu Toastmaster Club, and we felt the need that this good thing must spread. And people must be leaders, must be an effective communicator if we want to change the society, and therefore we felt the need of spreading that. And I'm so that sense of achievement now that we have got about 32 clubs around Nepal. Kathmandu, mostly there are clubs around Kathmandu, but we have opened in Dharan, we have opened in Pokhara, we have opened in Bhairava, there are clubs in Pipeline in Birganj, there are clubs in Chitwan, and seeing young people coming together in the Toastmasters, whereby we teach them not only the communications and leadership skills, but how to respond to the other's emotions, emotional intelligence that nurtures, Toastmaster nurtures. And I think that's what the society, entire society needs now, to be able to work together for a common goal which meets the expectation of the entire community. I think it was that we are paving very strongly. And since you just said, I'm also part of Associate Club Growth Director of the District 41, and our responsibility is to see that the club sustain and grow, and therefore we are in that mission. We look forward to have our entire Nepal as a district. Nepal, in fact, in District 41 has the oldest club, Kathmandu Toastmaster. So I think we must work, the community as a whole, to have our own dedicated district in Nepal. I think that way we will be contributing in the betterment of the society, making it very effective communication, and making leaders, effective leaders in the society for that matter.
Yeah, you said that you are the club growth director, associate club growth director in District 41, and we have seen a surge of new clubs in the last 2 years. You being the program quality director, Toastmaster Saurav, how do you see this sudden growth, and how do you see yourself fit in this picture?
Such a wonderful question, Toastmaster Moon. I am reminded of this dialogue from a very beautiful movie. I want to take that dialogue and say that dialogue to you. There's this movie called Three Idiots, and the main lead, what he said is, you don't need money to study, all you need is uniform. Uniform change, learning change, or college change. Now here at Toastmasters, what happened is, now club change, learning changes. Now before growth, I was just learning from my club. Now imagine in today's date around 35 clubs or 32 plus clubs, I can go to any city and learn a different thing. That's one marvel. I look at it the very positive way. Because what I am today, where I speak from today or on today, is all because of Toastmasters. If I have gained so much because of this wonderful institution, I feel really good that 10 years down the lane we have a whole bunch of good communicators. I think the reason, or even to develop a country or a community or an organization or just to run a family as well, we need good communicators. The reason that we are frustrated at times is for the reason that we are not able to make the other side understand what we are trying to say. Now imagine in 10 years down the lane, we have a bunch of people who will be making other side understand. Number one, how do I see myself fit in it? The thing is, I'd like to ask everybody, whoever is listening to this program, or Toastmaster Banu, Toastmaster you, how would you love if your son or daughter always stayed 10 years old? You wouldn't like it, would you? Because why? Is he or she is not growing. If somebody or something, even a human or organization is growing, you should always be happy. And I know that what we leaders are going through right now, we will be celebrated 10 years down the lane, even if we have position or do not have position. So I see myself making history in Nepal with Toastmasters, taking it to a newer ground. So that's how I see myself fit in it.
So I did introduce both of you as motivational leaders, but I know that both of you are corporate trainers also. Was Toastmasters instrumental, or did Toastmasters have any influence in your being a corporate trainer? How has it affected or helped in any way to be a good corporate trainer that you are sought after so much, I know? Toastmaster Banu?
When I joined Toastmaster, I was just an assistant in a banking. I then used to work for a Standard Chartered Bank. And finding a time in the evening to go and attend a Toastmasters meeting was a very difficult affair. So I had to coax or bribe my colleagues to let me out of the office during that rush hour of the evening to attend Toastmasters meeting. And few years after I attended the Toastmaster meeting and honed those skills, I was a different being. So, and gradually, when there were conferences, workshops conducted in the banks, I was a visible being. I participated, I conducted sessions, and gradually I became an in-house trainer of the banking sector. And even outside banking, when I was part of director of National Banking Institute, then I went around in the industry and conducted trainings. And now I'm an educator and trainer and coach, and that's a passion that drove me for so long. And that's how I feel when you are able to tell people what they want to listen to and make an effective communications, you can see a glow in the faces, and those motivations have kept me going. So I enjoy, that's my passion. As I said, a Toastmaster nurtures me as a mentor, coach, and an effective communicator. As Toastmaster Saurabh was saying, going to Toastmaster community, it's one way we give back what we learn. The second, we keep learning from young people coming to the Toastmasters. They are a different breed now. Unlike the time when I joined Toastmasters, these new breed of people very well command in language, the content, they Google and find out, they research and come back so well prepared. And it's so, fulfilling listening to these people and bridging this gap of generations. And I fall into a different generation. So trying to learn from these new generations and helping them grow in a different other perspective that I know from corporate sector. I think every day I learn and I try giving back to the community. So that's what as a trainer I do.
Okay. Now, what you just said reminded me that of Toastmasters, there's another change that is coming in, and if I may, I'll direct the next question to you. How do you see this change of this from this traditional way of learning to now pathways, and why would you encourage people to get into this kind of different way of learning now?
Wonderful. I think I'll again have to tell you a fairy tale of 1998, and then when we used to get manual on by mail, bulky manual, you had to read and prepare your speeches and give. I'm sure the audience now have a fair idea how the Toastmaster meetings goes on. One has to prepare based on the 100 years that the Toastmaster has taken to develop those manuals, and based on those manuals one has to prepare speeches and get feedback based on those manuals. Then we used to get those manuals by post. It used to take months to come from United States, and then you read and prepare your speech. Now you are blessed with the technology that you have. It is on tip of the fingers. You have apps you can download in the mobile and see what's going on. You can download and see. So just Google www.toastmaster.org, and it offers you ocean of knowledge. The 100 years of evolution of knowledge the Toastmaster has in the storage can be accessible to anyone who becomes a member. Even non-members can have access to few stuff. So I think that way accessibility to the material has been very easy, number one. Number two, the new ways of learning, the Toastmaster has named it pathways. The legacy manuals, we had a different competent communicator and advanced communicator, and those nomenclatures have now been replaced with a different educational path. People can access to those online portals. They can evaluate, self-evaluate the learning patterns one does have, and then based on that they can choose any path they want. For example, I am going for effective coaching Toastmaster Saurav, what are you going for?
I am going through motivational strategy.
So these are dynamic leadership, innovation planning. There are so many paths that one can choose. That way, people will find their voice, their pattern, their orientations to learning, and they can fit into that. Third component probably is we used to take months to get accredited after you complete the project. Now it's tip of the finger after you have completed, and there are so many milestones now been created. Earlier we used to complete 10 projects and accredited with competent communicator. Now 5 projects you are given certain accreditations, 5 more projects you are given. So that way people feel fulfilled much faster, and that way I think learning has taken a different pace now, and it's a very fulfilling looking at the pathways that has come.
Okay, so from what you've described and what you had said earlier, the learning style nowadays is very different, and Toastmasters has also adopted the way that people are learning nowadays. Everything on the mobile phone itself, on the tip, on searchable online.
Yes, yes.
The growing culture, the growing clubs in Toastmasters. I know Bhanuji is a distinguished Toastmaster, and Toastmaster Saurav, you're also moving towards that. And the project that you're doing so that you can get the coveted title of the distinguished Toastmasters has to do a lot with the new clubs, helping new clubs. What are you actually doing? How are you helping clubs that are just starting out now to make sure that their learning is fulfilled and they're doing the right thing?
I'd like to reply your question with a question first. How easy would it be if walking into a new workplace and somebody is there to hold your hands and say, don't worry, I have your back? What if you are going to a new department and somebody says that it's a piece of cake? If you have any issues, just come to me and I'll make sure that this problem isn't even a problem. What happens in Toastmasters is there's a lot of talk going in the town of what Toastmasters really is. But what happens is not everybody knows what Toastmasters is once they board on the ship. So as a part of my DTM project, let's say, in order to achieve that DTM status, what I am trying to do is, that would be a very selfish word to coin, but what we are doing, my team is doing is, we are trying to hold hand of the club. Any club that gets on board in Division A, let's say from minutest of things, from making the club understand of what Toastmasters is, to getting on board pathways, how to log in. Simple thing as logging in is a big headache in Toastmasters at times, especially when you are new to the system. Or how do I construct a speech? Some people even get stuck in finding a title for speech. If we've been a Toastmaster for quite a long time, finding a topic or even making a speech is not an arduous task for us. But for somebody who's really new and new to this institution, they would find problems with little things. Or let's say evaluation, the thing that Toastmaster Bhanu had done quite a while ago. People wouldn't even know how to give right evaluations. So what the plan is, for the next 6 months, we make a plan for them and ask them to follow the plan. So by 6 months, they would know how a club would function, how to give speeches, how to make Toastmasters meeting more enjoyable, how to give effective feedback, how to make your members come back again and again at Toastmasters and practice. My club is more or less about sustaining a club. Just adding on, people might be interested, why to sustain the club? Now, if we make plans to sustain the club, if we use this Toastmasters learning in the real world, it's just like sustaining your company. If you can formulate a plan to sustain a club, that learning can help you formulate a plan to sustain your company, whatever company or life or business or profession that you are into. So it's just not about Toastmasters. In fact, in real life as well, the Toastmaster learnings help. So in this way, we are trying to make sure that we sustain the club, and no club are left back. That's my project.
So that's really wonderful. For clubs that are already chartered and starting their journey in Toastmasters, you are holding their hand and taking them forward. But what would you say to clubs which might be just thinking, maybe people or an organization that might be thinking that maybe we should start this thing called Toastmasters because we've heard so much about it, or just because the show is on. But what would you like to say to people and corporates before they start the club? How would you like to guide them towards starting that club?
Now, what happens is the idea of bringing this club to life. A lot of people would say, why invest in clubs? Why this small thing? We have so many trainings going on in our corporate. Don't we have enough? What is this small club going to add up to our institution? Well, let me tell you, even an army with huge amount of army men or army personnel, best weapons cannot defeat its enemy if they don't have shoes. It's a little thing. I mean, how would shoes make any difference if you say? But if you do not have shoes, I guarantee that the army, even the best army in the world, cannot defeat their enemy. So this club, Toastmasters, might look small. Nothing can irritate or nothing can make an elephant panic more than a small ant. Toastmasters is just like that. So if you are in doubt of forming a Toastmasters club, what I would say is, I know you have doubts, but you have doubts in several other things, but you do it anyway. So despite the doubt, take one step. And once you take that step, we are here to just help you and make sure that you function, you benefit. Tell me one place, or tell me one person, or tell me one community that has not been benefited by education. Toastmaster is education. The way you want to learn it, in the pace that you wish to learn. So, yes, please, if you are in that dubious state of should I form a club or not, do form it. Because good habits are difficult to form but easy to live with. Bad habits are very easy to form but very difficult to live with. Toastmasters is one of those good habits, and being doubtful is very good, because there's a saying, only fools are very confident. The rest of us all are doubtful. So despite doubt, take that step, but do take it. That's my suggestion for new people who want to get on board to Toastmasters International's program.
I hope after listening to both of you, clubs and members who want to join clubs are motivated to join Toastmasters and hone their leadership as well as public speaking skills. Distinguished Toastmaster Bhanu Dawadi and going to be Distinguished Toastmaster Saurav Lohani, both of you shared your journey about having evolved from being a member to now being in the positions, leadership positions of the district itself. Because in Toastmasters we have members, then clubs, then division, district, region, and then the Toastmasters International. And Nepal is going from just being that one club that was not known to many to going towards being a district and competing and learning together with others around the world. And one day, most probably, we'll see a Toastmaster from Nepal who is winning a championship in public speaking in Toastmasters International. Right now, we have a person from District 41, a Toastmaster from District 41, who is leading Toastmasters International. Who knows, one day we might have one of you or another person from Toastmasters in Nepal leading Toastmasters International itself. Thank you both of you for having come here and shared your thoughts and motivated many who will be watching this show to be members or start a club. Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for having listened to us, and I hope you are motivated to join Toastmasters, because this is a place where you not just hone your skill of public speaking, but that of leadership, as well as many life skills, so that you are adept in not just coming and speaking in public, but also doing so much more and bringing your life forward and becoming great leaders. Thank you.